What did I tell you guys? What did I tell you? This deck, this Crystron deck was going to be meta. And thanks to the support from Raging Tempest, this deck got a whole lot better. Oh my god. Let me tell you about Sulfefnir. Let me tell you about Quariongandrax. Let me tell you about all the new combos available. I took this to my local yesterday and I got a lot of practice. And I think I have a really good build. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. There are still some cards I want for this deck, like Scrap Recycler. I want to get 1 or 2, maybe 3 of those. Probably not 3, but definitely 1 or 2 of those. But I don't have it yet because they're really hard to find. What is it? Starlight Junction. I haven't tried it out yet because I don't have it yet. But this build that I have has done wonders. I literally made all of my friends rage quit from either banishing their spell and traps or banishing their monsters and taking it for myself. So this build right here is godlike, and even though I'm not happy with this build right now, oh, get me wrong, I'm not satisfied with this build right now. I want to get this build out there because I feel like there are a lot of decks out there, because I've been looking up YouTube videos about Crystron decks, and they have a lot of questionable selections. Like, they're trying too hard to make it work and also make it meta. Like, they're adding Dimensional Barrier, which, don't get me wrong, is a great card, but at the same time, it's a side deck card. You can make this deck work and shut your opponents down with the cards that I have, and I'm going to showcase them for you guys. Yo, what's up guys? PKSparkxx here, and welcome to this deck profile for the Crystron deck. If y'all enjoyed this deck profile, demolish the like button for me. If you have any questions about why I chose the cards that I did and I didn't fully explain enough for you guys, let me know in the comment section below. And of course, if you enjoyed this deck profile and you want to looking forward to my Magnet Warrior deck profile tomorrow, demolish the like button for me. But without further ado, let's get into this profile. Now, main cards you're going to be having in every single deck. We're going to start off with 3 Crystron Smigers. Crystron Smigers is an amazing card. First of all, let me get this out the way. Any Crystron level 4 or lower monster has the effect of you can target one face-up card you control, destroy it, and then summon 1 Crystron tuner from your deck. That's every level 4 and lower. That's their universal feature, but their graveyard effects are what sets them apart. Not to mention their stats. Like, they're all water machine types, but Crystron Smiger has 1,000 attack and 1,800 defense, so pretty nice defense in case you need something like that. You also have Parasitol, but I'll get into that in a later date. But Crystron Smiger, you can pop any face-up card, including itself, and then summon a Crystron tuner. You can go into Quan, Citri, or what's the word? RION. Quan, Citri, or RION. I would say if it's turn 1, you're going to go into Citri, but I'll go into play later on. But 3 Smigers is definitely what you want, because he, in the graveyard, when you banish him, lets you search out a Crystron spell or trap card. Although, do note, due to the naming, you cannot choose Crystolic Potential. I forgot to mention, each level 4 and lower Crystron monster, you can only use their effect once. So, if you summon Smiger and you use his effect to destroying a face-up card in the field, you cannot use this graveyard effect in the same turn. You can use another Crystron's graveyard effect, but you can't use it if you already used the first effect that destroys a card face-up on the field to summon a tuner monster. So keep that in mind for your plays. Anyway, you're also going to play 3 Crystron Thistverns, 1,500 attack, 1,500 defense, same first field effect as Crystron Smiger, but the graveyard effect allows you to banish him to add 1 Crystron monster from your deck to your hand, and he's a really important card for that reason, because Crystron Thistvern, this does so much. And is there any way I can remove the glare? The glare is like coming from the light that I need to make myself not look so dark. What do I do? What do I do? Can I like raise you up? Can I raise you up? I think that works. I think that works. That's a little better, right? Y'all can see the cards a little better. I think that works. I think that works. But anyway, the other trip you're going to be playing off in your Crystron deck is definitely Crystron Citri. This card is godlike. This card, I wanted 3 of them, and I finally got 3 of them, and it makes the deck work so much. On your opponent's turn, it allows you to pull a Crystron monster, or a non-tuner monster, actually, a non-tuner monster from your deck, from your graveyard, special summon it, and immediately after that effect resolves, you synchro summon. So, Citri allows you to make some really crazy plays in your opponent's turn. You can easily go out into rank level 4, level 5, and even some level 7 plays. I will show you guys that in a little bit. But Citri is a really good card. The drawback is that Any monster that you synchro summon with Citrus on your opponent's turn gets banished instead of sent to the graveyard. If you use it on your turn, then it's not banished, it just goes to the graveyard because you're not using that effect to synchronize on your opponent's turn. But Citrus, you're going to want triple love. It's one of the best cards in this deck. I also forgot to mention that with Citrus, Quan, and RION, if you synchro summon on your opponent's turn, you must synchro summon a machine type monster. You cannot do anything else. However, with Quariongandrax, you can summon anything you want, baby. Now, in Raging Tempest, you get two, Crystron, Sulfefnir. I like having two of them in the deck. That is the perfect balance to me. This card is freaking wild and opens up so many plays. Note, you cannot discard Crystron Sulfefnir for its effect. You can discard any Crystron card except Crystron Sulfefnir. Now, when this card is in your hand or in your graveyard, you can discard any Crystron card except Crystron Sulfefnir, special summon Crystron Sulfefnir, and then destroy any card in the field, including itself. Why would you want to destroy yourself? Well, when this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, even its own, you can special summon in defense mode any Crystron monster from your deck. This allows you to search your deck for any tuner monster you may need, any regular monster you may need, so you can go out into your big plays such as Crystron, Quariongandrax. You can sit up for Crystron, Phoenix, or you can even go out into something else like Ally of Justice Catastrophe or something like that, which I actually have in this deck and it has been helpful. So Crystron Sulfefnir is a wild card. You can use Sulfefnir, get out of Citrus in a Parasitol, then you have Quariongandrax and you have Sulfefnir, and you can sync those two for Phoenix. It's so easy. With Sulfefnir, your level 9 plays are so incredibly easy to get out. It's ridiculous. Even with Sulfefnir, you can even get out Quan and RION. I have those in my deck as well. I'll get to them in a little bit. But you can get out Quan and RION and still bring out Quariongandrax. Or you can bring out RION, oh no, actually it had to be Quan and any level 3 because there's no level 1 non-tuners Crystron monsters, unfortunately. So you can bring out Quan and any level 3 and then bring that for Quan and then bring those into Phoenix. So whatever you need, Sulfefnir allows you to get it so long as you play it properly. And I'll get into some combos later on. But Sulfefnir, 2 of them has been perfect for me so far. I'm questioning if I want to add 3 because of how good it is, but I'm not sure because you can't drop Sulfefnir for Sulfefnir. So moving forward, I have 2 Crystron Vozinix, and I don't know why I said Vozinix. And the reason why I have 2, I mean, it's not the best one, but to be honest, I have found situations where banishing Vozinix to put a level, his graveyard ability allows you to banish Vozinix to summon one level 1 token onto your field, and that level 1 can be integral for you to get out your plays. There's been times where I couldn't get out Quariongandrax, but I'm like, oh wait a minute, I have Vozinix in the graveyard, banish it, get to level 1, and then I'm synchro summoning with 4 materials for Quariongandrax, and then a massacre just happens. It's so good. I'll get into Quariongandrax in a little bit. But Vozinix 1800 attack, so if you're playing a low level deck, you have something to do a little bit of attacking with, and if you want to, you can also put him out into some level 4. I'm sorry, rank 4. I had it right the first time. Some rank 4 plays, overlays, or or if you want to be that guy, you can also add battle. It's that machine type monster that when you summon it, it raises all monsters level by 1. I can't think of the name, but I know Jumbo Drill, and you can use that to go out into Cyber Dragon Nova, into Infinity. But I think that it takes up too much space in your extra deck, and your extra deck is precious for this deck. So I don't really play it, but it is an option. But Vozinix being on level 4, he also makes it to where I can make a few plays if I want to into my other synchro monsters. So I don't mind having 2 of them in the deck. What I also have 2 of in my deck is Crystron Parasitol. Let me just slide that over a little bit. Don't fall. That works. Alright, but yeah, I want you guys to see the artwork. I'm sorry, I'll probably zoom in a little bit. Matter of fact, can I zoom in now? Let me see. Hey, there we... Just know it's Crystron Parasitol, I'm sorry. But Crystron Parasitol is another card that allows you to pop a face-up card to control to summon a monster. And I like Parasitol because he's a level 2 monster, and when he's in the graveyard, you can banish him to special summon one Crystron monster from your hand. So if you have something in your hand but you already normal summon, you can banish Parasitol, and then you can special summon that monster and go into your synchro plays immediately. So I mean, 2 of them is great. He also has 2000 defense, so it's not bad in that regard as well. And the fact that he's level 2 makes it a little easier to summon something in case you have Citrus, but you want to summon Quan, so you can't summon another Citrus to do that because you can't make Quan with 2 tuners, so you need another level 2, and Parasitol fits that mode. The last few monsters I have 2 Crystron Quan. I was playing a build recently with only 1 Quan, but that I felt like I wanted 2. Like there were times when I wanted 2 level 1s, like sometimes I would have Peristidal and I wanted to make Quan, but I couldn't do anything about it because I didn't have another level 1. So being he's the only level 1 Crystron monster, I'm like I might as well have 2 of them in the deck. So mind you can't do that because that's double tuning, but I mean there were times when I wanted Quan and I wanted to make Quariongandrax, excuse me. There were times I want to make Quariongandrax in level 1, but I don't have it right now. Crystron Quan helps me out with that. So having 2 of them in the deck has been great. And then the one that I wanted the most, like you guys remember when I was opening INOV Special Edition, and all I wanted was RION. I only have 1 of them in the deck now. I only have 1. It just, you know. I don't know what you want me to say. Quariongandrax, I mean, RION is great. He allows you to synchro summon. Oh, I should probably mention, I've actually forgot to mention this about Quan. Quan, when he is on the field, he allows you to special summon 1 Crystron monster from your hand, and then immediately after you synchronize, and they go to the graveyard. So, I mean, again, if you want to surprise your opponent with that, you can just summon, well then again, surprise, because if you're summoning Quan, you're probably going to want to synchronize on your opponent's turn. That's kind of obvious. But yeah, Crystron Quan is good in that regard. That's what he allows you to do. And yeah, synchronizing your opponent's turn and special summon from your hand. And Crystron RION, he allows you to special summon from out of play. So any of them that's out of play, but you're going to be doing a lot, especially with Smiger and Thysvern. You also want to try and get a Peristidal out there, so you can probably overlay or synchronize into Crystron AMETRIX or Crystron Ally. Or Crystron Ally Justice, or Ally Justice Catastor, because it's just really good. It's really just a good option. I only have 1 of them in the deck though, because you don't want to bring back too many. But there have been times where I summoned them, and I'll tell you guys about that when I start going over some plays. But yeah, only 1, and not to mention I like using RION because I can special summon, and then I can go out into my rank 3 play. But you guys will find about that and how that has helped me in just a little bit. Now, I'm kind of proud about my spell lineup. I'm kind of proud of it. We're starting off with Different Dimension Deep Sea Trench. If you open up 2 Crystrons, any 2, if you open up 2 Crystrons and Different Dimension Deep Sea Trench, you are setting yourself up with an amazing duel. I'm telling you. This card allows you, when it resolves, so if your opponent destroys it with Twin Twisters, then you don't use the effect. But when it resolves, you can banish 1 water monster from your hand, field, or graveyard, and when that card is destroyed, face-up card is destroyed, you get to summon that monster. So, let's say, well, I'll go into plays later on, but for an example, you can banish Citri. You activate Different Dimension Deep Sea Trench, you banish the Citri from your hand. You summon either Smiger or Thysvern from your hand. Or even better yet, let's say you have Thysvern and Smiger in your hand, because this one it gets fun. So let's say you summon Thysvern and you activate Different Dimension Deep Sea Trench, you banish the Smiger in your hand. You activate Thysvern's effect, you destroy the Different Dimension Deep Sea Trench. The Thysvern's effect allows you to special summon any tuner monster from your deck. You can go out into Quan, so you can make Quandax. You can go out into Citri, so you can make AMETRIX or Ally Justice Catastor. You can go out into RION and you can make a rank 3 play overlay. So any of those are your options, and you get to summon Smiger. And then you can use Smiger's effect. You can destroy any one of them if you want. If you want to drop one of them in the graveyard, there's been times where I've done that. I have summoned Citri, and then I use Smiger's effect, and I have destroyed the Thysvern to summon Quan. And then I've overlaid, synchronized into Quandax, and then Quandax is sitting on the field, and I have Citri ready to go. So when my opponent turns, I can use Citri's effect, special summon the Thysvern from my graveyard, special summon either Catastor if they're not using a dark deck, or I can special summon AMETRIX if they have a lot of special summon monsters. And when AMETRIX is special summoned, you are allowed to switch all all special summon monsters to defense mode. And in this meta, that's really good. Like I actually faced a duel yesterday where someone actually had to tribute summon because I used Swords of Concealing Light and they just got bodied. They couldn't do anything. So like, you know what? I'm just gonna tribute summon. I'm like, old school tactics. Also, I just cut my arm with my deck. God dang. Freaking water types. Anyway, water attributes, I should say. But anyway, to do that, and then with Quandax, you're allowed to synchronize your opponent's turn, so you can sync the AMETRIX and the Quandax into into Phoenix, or you can get yourself out. You can leave Smiger on the field and leave the Citri on the field and summon the Quandax. And on your opponent's turn, you can summon Quariongandrax, and he's also fun as well. But I'll get into them in a little bit. But just from, like I said, if you get this Fern Smiger and Deep Sea Trench, you are doing some work. It's amazing what this deck can do with different dimensions Deep Sea Trench on first turn. But going to what I just said, I have 2 Swords of Concealing Lights. I was playing 3 because it's like an anti-meta card. So many cards work while they're face up on the field, but when you drop Swords of Concealing Light, then when you drop Swords of Concealing Light, they can't do anything. Like, the monster effects are weakened. I was facing a Dark Law deck, and before I did anything, I just Swords of Concealing Light. That way, any cards that's in the graveyard are not banished. So, bam, and then I used Smiger to destroy the Swords of Concealing Light, similar to what I want, and then I went into my plays. So, amazing card right there, a really anti-meta card. And a lot of people, I haven't seen, that's the thing, I haven't seen any build with Swords of Concealing Light. Why are you not running this? Do you realize how much it messes up the meta? I had somebody had Totally Awesome on the field, and I baited them out. I said Swords of Concealing Light, and they stopped it because they didn't want their monster to be negated. So then I went out into my, Quariongandrax, and I banished the Totally Awesome because you can only use that effect. Totally Awesome. No, I did banish. They banished the Totally Awesome, trying out to take by Swords of Concealing Light. Because then I banished their Enki, I banished their Dark Law, I banished their Bahamut Shark, and I can use them when I want now. Like, if you destroy my Quariongandrax, I can just bring that back. So, Swords of Concealing Light not only is a good bait card, it's like anti-meta. An anti-meta in a deck. What? It's amazing. So, Swords of Concealing Light is one of my favorites. I think every Crystron deck needs to run this card. At least 2. I used to run 3, but I wanted to make room for some other cards. Now, this one, I don't have, I haven't tried Starlight Junction yet, as I said in the beginning of the video. But I had 2 Crystolic Potentials, which is with how much you're going to be synchro summoning Crystron monsters. You are going to be able to use this card's effect a lot. Not to mention, the boost has been able to help me out beat Blue Eyes decks and the like. Crystolic Potential is a field spell card that when it's on the field, all Crystron monsters gain 300 attack and defense. And at the end of the turn, depending on how many Crystron monsters you synchro summon, not special summon, but synchro summon. Well, it is a special summon, but you have to synchro summon it. You can't call the Haunters and then this effect, you know. But yeah, when you synchro summon any Crystron monster at the end of the turn, let's say you summon Quariongandrax, Crystron, I'm sorry, let's say you summon Crystron Quariongandrax, you summon Crystron AMETRIX, and then you summon Crystron Phoenix. That's 3 Crystron monsters synchro summon at one turn. At the end of the end phase, you get to draw 3 cards, and then you draw for your turn. So, or unless it was your turn, then you don't draw for your turn. But you draw 3 cards. So it's a really nice draw power for this deck, and the boost has been able to get me out of some bad situations. So Crystolic Potential, I don't think is a bad card. If you want to try Starlight Junction, it's definitely great because I believe if I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, feel free to yell at me in the comment section below and tell me how bad my video is. But Starlight Junction, when you synchronize a monster, you can bounce 1 card on your opponent's field. Like, I think it just goes back to the deck. I think it goes back to the deck or the hand. It was one of them, but I think that's how that works. So it's a pretty nifty card. And if you want to go one step further, you can use Starlight Junction's effect, and you can put a Synchron monster in his deck. But personally, I think adding a Synchron monster in his deck, it brings too much fluff, like too much and randomness in here. Like, you already have a 5-star monster and Sulfefnir, so why would you want Crit Draw Synchron? Now we're going to go into some of the support for this deck. Using Citri, you are going to be banishing a lot of monsters, because while she's like the best for summoning monsters, you also have to banish your monsters to do so. So you want to make sure that you support that. But this meta, a lot of cards get banished. As such, I have 2 Pot of Equivalence in this deck. Now, I was using Burial from a Different Dimension, but I found that just returning them to the deck is so much more useful, especially with Sulfefnir. Like, I took out the Burial I had and I put in 2 Pot of Equitativeness, because it allows you to target 3 banished monsters and you bring them back to the, You bring them back to the, to the deck, and then you draw 1 card. So the reason why I like this is because there have been times where I have used my synchro monsters such as AMETRIX to make it into a level 7 play. So then I can bring back my AMETRIX, but it goes back to the extra deck, and as 1 less card I risk redrawing in my deck, when I draw that card. Not to mention, Pot of Equivalence helps you out versus decks like Electromagnets, because you're banishing your, Electromagnets because you're banishing them for Berserkion. It helps you out against the ABCs because you're banishing the ABCs for ABC Dragon Buster. It helps you out against, Sips, kind of. Actually, it doesn't help you out versus Inferno Rates. Yeah, it didn't help you out. It didn't help me out then. Like, I drew a card, but it didn't really it didn't really help. I could use it, but I mean, it only helped them out more. That was a wild matchup. But anyway, Pot of Equivalent is a really great card. Really good tool, anti-meta if you want to be that way. And it also helps out your deck as well because you're going to be banishing a lot of your monsters, especially with Citri, especially with Thisvern, especially with Smiger, using their effects, Parasital. You can just bring them back and reuse them. Pot of Equivalent, you got to have it. Either that or Burger from a Dimension, but I like Equivalent more. Pot of Equivalent. Anyway, now, one issue I felt I was having with this deck was back row. As such, I spliced in 2 Twin Twisters. I don't really mind dropping them, especially with Sulfefnir in my deck. I can just drop a Sulfefnir, use Twin Twisters, get rid of any back row or problematic Pendulum monsters, and then I'm free to do exactly what I want. And it's like, yay! So, Twin Twisters has been really good, just destroys 2 back row by dropping a card. One card that's really good for this deck is Foolish Burial. I wish I had more, but Foolish Burial is the reason why I want to try Scrap Recycler in this deck, because Scrap Recycler lets you drop, when you normal summon, you can drop any machine type monsters to the graveyard, and my entire deck is machine type monsters. Foolish Burial has allowed me to drop a Thisvern or drop a Smiger. Let's say I drop Thisvern, send Thisvern to the graveyard, and then you banish it immediately to bring one Crystron monster from your deck to your hand, and you can choose Sulfefnir, and then that's when some fun stuff begins. You can drop another Crystron, special summon him, and then destroy himself, get the monster out that you want. You can do Citri or anything that you want. So it's fun. I promise you it's fun. You can even drop Smiger. Let's say you drop Smiger, then you banish Smiger to bring Crystron Impact to your hand, and then Crystron Impact allows you set that, and then you can target. Well, I'll get into Crystron Impact in a little bit, but it's a really good card. But Foolish Burial just opens up a lot of plays for this deck. I think it's mandatory, absolutely mandatory. If you're running Crystrons and you don't have a Foolish Burial or Scrap Recycler, I think you're doing it wrong. You need that. Shoot, both of them. Do it. So anyway, I don't know why I stared at you like that. But one more card, just because I like cards like this, because it helps you thin out your deck. I could replace that for something else, but I like having a 39 card deck. So I have Terraforming. Terraforming is a spell card that allows you to search out a field spell card from your deck. So really easy crystal potential right there. That's the reason why I don't run 3 field spells in any deck. I'd rather just run 2 and Terraforming, so I can just pull that, and then that's one less card in my deck, you know. Same reason why in my Dark Magician deck I like Summoner's Art, because I can just drop that and then I can pull Dark Magician and one less card in my deck. So Terraforming, I think is a really good card. Now, I don't have that many trap cards in this deck, but the trap cards I do have, I love. Unfortunately, I don't have any Solemn Strikes in this deck because I don't have any extras. All my Solemn Strikes are in my main deck, my Dark Magicians. But still, I have been able to circumvent that very easily with the cards that I have. We'll go into the card that I think is the most important Crystron trap card, Crystron Impact. You activate this, you can target one Crystron monster and special summon. Well, you can target one banished Crystron monster and special summon it. So you can banish, like I was saying earlier, you can use Foolish Burial, you can drop Smiger, you can use Smiger's effect to banish it and then bring Crystron Impact to your hand, and then you can set that on your opponent's turn. You can activate it, bring back Smiger or any banished Crystron monster you may have, and then if you have Quariongandrax on the field, you can probably do some fancy plays in your opponent's turn. One more thing I forgot to mention, because I'm a very forgetful person, is that Crystron Impact, when you special summon a monster from the banished pile with Crystron Impact, all monsters your opponent controls, their defenses go to 0. So you couple that with AMETRIX as well, and you just pretty much go in with destroying your opponent's monsters. But still, being able to bring back your monsters, whether it's Citri, whether it's Smiger, or whether it's Thisvern, or whether it's Parasital, or Rosinix, or anything else you may have banished, or your opponent may have banished, being able to bring them back, any Crystron monster, including the synchro ones, so long as they were properly special summoned, you can bring back with Crystron Impact. And the graveyard effect, if your opponent activates any effect that targets it, you can banish it from the graveyard and say no. Just negate it. You don't destroy it, but you negate it. Just say no. And I like that because there were times where I would have lost the duel if I didn't have Crystron Impact in my deck. My opponent made a last-ditch effort in his last play, was he overlaid his 2 Lunalight Cat Dancers, I believe, the level 7s, I think that's what they are, 2400 attack, 2000 defense, overlaid them into Big Eye, and he tried to take control of my Quariongandrax, but because he activated an effect, that took control of my Quariongandrax, not Gandrax, but Quariongandrax, I banished Crystron Impact, negated it, and I was able to take home that duel. So Impact really good card to have, both on the field and in the graveyard. Protects your monsters from any targeting effects, and it's a great card. Now, I like this card. I like it even more. I had it at 1, but ever since release of Quariongandrax, 2 is amazing. Crystron entry. This card is a really unique card that allows you to special summon 2 Crystrons, tuner monsters, 1 from your hand and 1 from your graveyard. So let's say you already use Quariongandrax, Crystron Quandax for a synchros in your graveyard. You can special summon them from your graveyard with Crystron entry, and then you can summon, let's say, Citri, while you have a level 3 monster on the field. You know what that is? Level 2, level 3, and level 4. That was 2. Level 4. That is a level 9 play you can make, and that's Quariongandrax right there. It's immediate, just by Crystron entry. And then with Crystron entry's graveyard effect, you can banish it, send 1 Crystron monster from your deck to your graveyard, then target 1 Crystron monster on the field. That Crystron monster becomes that effect. And then, because you're milling a Crystron monster to the graveyard, you can use its effect. Let's say you need a level 3, and you have Sulfefnir on the field. So you can use Crystron entry, banish it, send this Fern to the graveyard, or let's say Smiger as well. Let's say Smiger. You make it level 3, and then you can banish Smiger because you haven't used that effect that turn. You can bring back any Crystron spell trap card from your deck to your hand, which you're going to have multiples of. And then you can go out into Quariongandrax. You can set up for Phoenix as well, whichever one you want. So it's really freaking good. Crystron introduces a lot, opens up so many plays with this deck. It's wild. Now, a while back, I don't know if you guys follow me on Twitter. If you don't follow me on Twitter, follow me on Twitter at PKSparkxx. Link is in the description below. But I was on Twitter and I was trying to figure out what cards can you use to bring back synchro monsters from the graveyard. And because I found my big issue was that I was running through my extra deck really quickly. So, someone suggested to me this card, Jar of Avarice. And at first I'm like, what is this card? It's a trap card, it's slow. And yeah, it's slow because I was talking like how I missed Pot of Avarice. Pot of Avarice would have been great. But Jar of Avarice is literally just as good, if not better. Jar of Avarice allows you to target any 5 cards in your graveyard, any 5. It could be synchro monsters, it could be monsters, or it could be spells, and it could be traps. You target them, you bring them back to your deck, you shuffle them in, and you draw 1 card. So it's draw power, it's recycling power. You can bring different times where I didn't have any Quandax in my synchro deck, and I needed it, but guess what I had? Jar of Avarice. Now, there's something that I want to note. I just recently added Jar of Avarice. Before, what I was running was Jar of Avarice and the Transmigration Prophecy. The reason why I was running Transmigration Prophecy is that it allows you to target any 2 cards from any graveyard, and you send them back to the owner's deck. So, let's say your opponent goes out and they're trying to, let's say, Return to the Dragon Lords, and they're trying to bring back any monster. When they do that, they target, let's say, Blue Eyes White Dragon, you can activate Transmigration Prophecy, and you can send it back to your deck, and you can also choose 1 card from your deck, your graveyard, and send it back to the deck. It could be a synchro monster or whatever. So it's a really nice way to disrupt your opponent's plays. However, I have found that because it's very niche, not very niche, but it's niche, I feel like it's better as a side deck card in case you're running a deck, facing a deck that recycles a lot. Otherwise, you're going to want to bring back your own cards more, and you can get more bang for your buck with Jar of Avarice. But I did move the Transmigration Prophecy to my side deck. Mind you, it's the only card in my side deck because I'm still working on the main deck before I try to get the side deck out there. But yeah, I do have it, and Transmigration Prophecy is also a nice substitute if you don't have Jar of Avarice, which you can get from Mega Pack. So grab it. It's actually really cheap too. It's only like $1. I bought a few. I want you to know I bought a few of these cards in Secret Rare. I think it's like $2 Secret Rare, 50 cents common. Get this card. It's ridiculous. But 2 cards I also have to stop my opponent's plays. I found like monster effects were also a real issue. So I have 1 Fiendish Chain. A lot of people were saying you should do Breakthrough Skill, but honestly, I like Fiendish Chain more because it also stops my opponent's attacks from an effect monster, and almost everybody has effect monsters out. So Fiendish Chain has also been really helpful. Breakthrough Skill is also nice because you negate the effect, but they can still attack that turn, or they can be used for something else. I mean, mind you can still do the same thing with Fiendish Chain, but Fiendish Chain you can also pop with your Crystron monsters, so you can get out a Crystron tuner from your deck. So that's why I like Fiendish Chain as well. I would have 2, but again, not only do I not have 2, but my deck is really tight right now. And the very last card, you guys can probably guess it, even though I don't have Strike, I do have Solemn Warning. Solemn Warning allows you to negate a summon, and if you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh!, you have to have Solemn Warning. It's at 1 for a reason. find one and add it to your deck. It's ridiculous. It's really good. Alright guys, we are almost done, but we're about to get into some fun stuff now. We have the extra deck. And the extra deck for me, man, this deck has put me through hell. Because I still adjust it to this day. And I don't know if I have the proper build or the proper count, but I know that it has been working. And I'm going to get into everything right now. First off, we're going to, you know what, let's start off with the actual Crystron. We're going to go by level, all right? We're going to go by level. So we're going to start off with 2 Crystron Quariongandraxes, level 4. And the reason why I'm only running 2 is because I had to make room for another card, because I found need for this. Now, I had it at 3 until this build, actually. Until this video, I'm like, I had it at 3, but as I was looking at it, I'm like, do I even need 3? Because I don't summon Quariongandrax that much, and I can recycle them. There's been very little times where I have found myself knocked down to my last, needing a 3rd Quariongandrax, and I didn't have it. I do need 3 Crystron AMETRIX, but not so much Quariongandrax. So I knocked them down to 2 for another card. I'll get into that in a little bit. But Crystron Quariongandrax allows you to synchronize with the monsters you have on the field during your opponent's turn. And also, Crystron monsters have an effect. Well, Crystron Quariongandrax specifically has an effect of when he's destroyed, he allows you to special summon one Crystron monster from your graveyard to the field. So you can have him be destroyed, bring back Citry, and then you can use Citry's effect to special summon anything else and then make a play you may need, such as, well, I'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah, Quariongandrax is a really nice card to have, and I mean, he's great. He allows you to synchro summon your opponent's turn. One thing I forgot to mention is, unlike the Crystron effect monsters, with Quariongandrax, you can summon on your opponent's turn using materials that are on the field, but you can summon any monster you want that's a synchro monster. So you can make a Goyo Guardian play, you could make a Trishula play, you can make a Mistworm play, or anything like that that you may be interested in. So look at the possibilities. So I also have this for utility, and it has become very useful for me. Armory Arm. If you guys don't know, it's a level 4 machine type monster. So if you want, you can use it during your opponent's turn. I don't. I normally synchronize it on my opponent. Like, basically, if I'm in a good position, I'll summon Armory Arm and make my position even better. I'll turn one of my 2,800 or 3,000 attack point monsters into a 3,800 or 4,000 point monster, plus Crystalline Potential Boost if I have it on the field. And then Armory Arm has an effect. You can equip it to that monster, and it's a Union monster, but it's not a Union monster. Konami. But anyway, Armory Arm is a card that when it's equipped, it gives the monster 1,000 attack points, and when you destroy a monster with it, the monster's attack points you inflict to your opponent as damage. So really nice card. I know there's like a card you can. It's not Fairy Meteor Crush. Yo, when's the last time people even use Fairy Meteor Crush? They don't even mention that anymore. But there's so many piercing cards. Anyway, Armory Arm is a really nice utility card I have. And going into my triples, I have 3 Crystron AMETRIXes, because I have found myself more often than not needing to stop my opponent's progression. So summoning Crystron AMETRIX, I can switch all special summon monsters to defense mode. And Crystron Impact allows you, when you special summon a monster, all defenses of the monsters your opponent controls goes to 0. So let's say you use Crystron Impact and you special summon Smiger, and you special summon, I don't know, I guess Citry, say Citry, and then you use Citry's effect. Oh, sorry, with Crystron Impact, it switches all the defenses to 0. And then you have you summon AMETRIX, and it switches all those monsters to defense mode, all special summon monsters to defense mode. On the next turn, you can wipe out every single one of their monsters. Just say bam, bam, bam. You can even destroy it with a tuner, and the tuners only have 500 attack and defense, but you can destroy them because a Crystron Impact lowers all their defenses to 0. So it's a really nice card. It's an effect that I have been forgetting lately. I completely forgot about that, so I apologize for that. But yeah, that's what that allows you to do. So you can shut down your opponent's special summon monsters with Crystron Impact. I'm sorry, with AMETRIX, then use Crystron Impact, make the defense 0, run over them. Just shut it down. I mean, to be honest, that's how I was actually going to shut down a 5-headed dragon like that, but then 5-headed dragon is really hard for this to get over. But anyway, was it another level 5 play I like is Allied Justice Cataster. He's completely useless against a dark deck. But if you're facing anything else, he's an amazing play. There's been times where I have been saved just by Ally of Justice Cataster. And because he's a machine type, you can summon it during your opponent's turn. Ally of Justice Cataster, just, if you guys don't know, if it battles a non-dark type monster, destroy it before the damage step. So they can still negate the attack with like Mirror Force or something like that. But if they're not negating it and it's not a dark type attribute monster, then you can destroy it immediately. It's a really good card. So this card came into play immediately. It literally saved me in a test duel last night. Powered and Zektron. Powered and Zektron is a level 6 play you can make with like well, actually with a lot of things. You can even do RION and a banish level 3 into Powered and Zektron. That's exactly how I did it to save my hide. Because what happened was I had Sulfefnir on the field, and they had a way to like destroy everything. I was going to lose. But what they did was Sulfefnir, when that card is destroyed, you can summon any Crystron monster in defense mode onto the field. So then he was going to attack again, and with the same monster, so he could just run over me. But I used Rion's effect, and I special summoned a Smyger from my graveyard, and then I used Rion's effect. And I forgot to mention this as well, but Crystron Rion, when you synchro summon with him on your opponent's turn, the materials return back to your deck, which is why I only have one of them in the deck, because you can just recycle it really easily. And when this card is synchro summoned this turn until the end phase, this card cannot be destroyed by battle, cannot be destroyed by card effects, and I take no battle damage, which means that even if they were to use something fancy, let's say for whatever reason they use Intergalactic Swap as a trap card for aliens, that if they have an A counter, you can just swap control. If they were to take control of a Zektron and clears my field, because I synchro summoned this monster, I still take no battle damage. So I wouldn't lose that turn. It was an amazing save, and honestly, I was able to come back from that, because the next turn I summoned two Citries, and I summoned Citri and Quan, and I used them to summon into Quariongandrax, and I turned it all around. So this card, if it is your emergency button. If you have nothing left, summon Powered and Zektron. It saves you for a turn, and you better make sure you can save yourself for the next turn. But yeah, another card I added, and it turns out is actually a really good card. It's a level 7 play, because there have been times where I've been able to have Citri on the field, and I will special summon my AMETRIX and banish it into Super Heavy Samurai Stealth Ninja. This is the one Super Heavy Samurai. Most of them requires a Super Heavy Samurai to summon, but this one only requires a machine type tuner and one or more non-tuner machine type monsters. So because that's the majority of my deck, I can make this thing really easily. He's an Earth machine type monster, and the effect that we want to worry about is that if he is destroyed by a card effect on my next standby phase, I can special summon him on the field. 2800 defense and 1200 attack, but when this card attacks, you apply the defense for damage calculation. So his defense becomes his attack, but on your opponent's turn, they're attacking your defense. It's a really nice card. We're almost a Quariongandrax. I've been talking him up this entire video. But yo, we're moving into Crystron Phoenix. People hate this card, because when this card is, well, okay, it's a tricky one to summon. You need Quariongandrax to summon Phoenix. But Crystron Phoenix requires a synchro tuner monster and a non-tuner synchro monster. So Quariongandrax and AMETRIX makes this card easily. It's level 9, water attribute, machine type monster, 2800 defense and 2800 attack, 2000 defense. Well, what is it? When this card is synchro summoned, you banish all spell and trap cards your opponent controls and in their graveyard. You banish them. Get gone. Goodbye, Return of the Dragon Lords. Goodbye, Paleozoics. You banish them. They're gone. They're no longer a threat. Because of Phoenix, I want to face another Paleozoic deck and see how this deck does, because no one's like really using a Paleozoic Toad deck lately. They're either opting for Hero Toads or Hero Toads or just plain Heroes. I don't know. I've really faced Paleozoic Toads anymore, but I want to face them now with Crystron Phoenix and just see how the deck goes. But yeah, Crystron Phoenix also, when he's destroyed, allows you to special summon any monster from your graveyard. So if he's destroyed, you can bring back a Quariongandrax, or you can bring back a Citri and go into another synchro play if you have it in your graveyard that way. Or you can bring back a Smyger, or you can bring back a Sulfefnir, or you can do anything. It's so good. They recycle themselves, but I gotta note, you can only special summon when this monster is synchro summoned. So if you were to bring it back with Call to Haunted, you don't get that effect. It only when this synchro summoned monster is destroyed. But again, that's why you have cards to recycle your synchro monsters like Jar of Avarice, so you can just bring them back to your extra deck and then use them later. And now the big man I have been talking up this entire time, Crystron Quariongandrax. This card came out in Raging Tempest, and it is a beast. It is a beast. First of all, it requires two. You guys have probably been wondering this entire time, why are you using two tuners in a regular monster to summon this thing? Well, Crystron Quariongandrax, which his name was actually better in the Japanese. As a matter of fact, let me see, what was his name? Quariongandrax's Japanese name was Gleondander. That's such a better name, because Quariongandrax just takes so long to say. I mean, either make it like Gandrax or Quariongandrax, or I don't know, just the Gandrax hits it. It's Quariongandrax though. And this card is a motherfucking monster. This card allows you to, when it's synchro summoned, you can banish monsters from your opponent's graveyard and on the field up to the number of synchro materials you use for summon this monster. So, let's say, you guys remember I was saying earlier how I had, was it Citri, no, Quan, I think it was Quan, Smiger, and Smiger? No. What is it? No, it was Citri, Quan, Smiger. So it was 6, 8, 9. Yes, that's four materials right there. I banished 4 monsters. I banished their strongest monsters. Now, the thing about Quariongandrax is that when he is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target one banished monster, any banished monster, and summon it to your field. So, he's 3,000 attack, 3,000 defense. He banishes your opponent's monsters, and if they get over your monster, you can banish their own. This is the reason why I no longer fear 5-headed dragon. I get this out, I banish 5-headed dragon. Quariongandrax gets rid of any threats you may have, and yes, it can be negated, but if they try to target it with anything like breakthrough skills to negate the effect, that's why you have Crystron impact in your graveyard. You banish it, and you negate it, and you go through with your play. It's so good. I'm telling you, like, Quariongandrax makes me happy. Like, I'm not even going to say anything else. He just makes me happy. He is such an amazing card in this deck. Gets you out of any bad situation. And like I said, with Crystron entry, he's so easy to summon. With Crystron Sulfefnir, he's so easy to, I mean, look at his design. He's made to be made with Sulfefnir. Sulfefnir and Quariongandrax are one and the same. If you're running a Crystron deck and you don't have, or you don't know, or you don't want to use Quariongandrax, you're doing it wrong. He's mandatory, along with Phoenix, but Quariongandrax saves you. I'm telling you, this deck has gotten so much better since I've gotten Quariongandrax. But anyway, going into the last 2 cards from this deck, like, there were times where there was things that you just can't beat over. Anything that can't be destroyed by battle and you can't summon Quariongandrax because you may not have it available, like what happened to me yesterday, you can't get through it, but you can go over it. 2 number 47 Nightmare Sharks requires 2 level 3 monsters to summon, and you can detach any material, and you can target 1 water type monster. I think it's water type monster. What is it? When this card is special summon, you can attach 1 level 3 monster from your hand or your side of the field to this card as an XYZ material. Once per turn, you can detach 1 XYZ material from this card, then target 1 water monster you control. This turn, that monster can attack your opponents directly, but other monsters cannot attack. So, I was facing a Lunalight deck, and they had a Lunalight Cat Dancer, the one that can't be destroyed by battle, and I already had Quariongandrax on the field because I summoned it, and I already had another one in the graveyard because I couldn't use anything, and I didn't have Jar AVARICE because I just wasn't pulling it. So, what do? I went over it. I literally just went over it. I said, you know what, screw you then. I summoned Phoenix, took out his back row, and actually he had Mirror Force, so that saved me. But I took out his back row, summoned Nightmare Shark, put him in defense mode because he has 2,000 attack and defense. So I put him in defense mode because he's not going to be attacking anyway. Detached the Smiger, was going to attack directly with my Quariongandrax. Then I banished the Smiger, brought Crystron Impact to my hand so I could protect him in case any situation. And I already had Impact in the graveyard. I attacked directly with 3,300, and I wish I summoned Armor Arm because that would have been 4,300, but still, Armory Arm I should say. And I just went completely over it. So that is the main deck. That is definitely the deck. And I think there are so many important cards to this deck, but so many of them are integral. I'm telling you. But yeah, Quariongandrax and Citri are like probably the most important ones. So Sulfefnir is also really important, but still. And I was going to go over some plays. I was going to go over some plays at the end, but you know what? I've talked about plays this entire time, so I'm not going to stress too much about it. But that is my deck profile for my Crystrons. If you have any suggestions or questions, let me know in the comment section below, and I will answer them. If you enjoyed this deck profile and you're looking forward to trying Crystrons yourself, make sure you guys let me know in the comments, and of course, demolish the like button for me. I want this video to spread around because I have not seen a Crystron build that I thought was a good build and I took something from. You know, I've seen so many splices and so many weird builds, and it just threw me off. Like, why are you doing that? Why are you using this? Why is that your go-to? Why are you trying to do all these different things when you can just use the Crystron format? Like, it's all right there. It's a really fun, really intuitive, really exciting, and really thought-provoking deck because you have many options to get your stuff out, so you gotta make sure you make the right plays. I have been talking for near an hour. So yeah, if you guys could, please share this video around, because I think I went into detail about anything and everything that I have done. So please check it out. But for now, it's time for me to dip. Stay hot, guys, and I'll see you next time.